The signal came through at 3:17 a.m. The Ocean Research Station, Deepwave 12, was empty except for marine acoustics specialist Dr. Aaron Voss. She'd been analyzing deep-sea recordings from the Mariana Trench for nearly 18 hours straight when her monitors flickered. The usual ocean hum was replaced by a low, rhythmic pulse. It wasn't whale song, it wasn't machinery, it was organized, a pattern. 3 seconds of silence. Then, a single deep tone, like a foghorn underwater, but stretched, distorted, almost human. She leaned forward, raising the volume slightly. The sound grew, a layered hum vibrating through the speakers like something alive. She hit record. The time code blinked. 03:17:09. Then came a second tone, lower, slower, as if something vast was answering the first. Aaron froze. There shouldn't have been anything down there. The sensor buoy transmitting the feed was stationed near Challenger Deep, nearly 11,000 meters below, where pressure alone crushed steel. And yet she could hear movement. She quickly ran a spectral analysis, expecting random noise. But the waveform formed a shape, a curve repeating every 41 seconds, like a heartbeat. Her radio crackled. "Aaron, you're still on comms?" It was Dr. Hahn, the night supervisor. "Yeah," she said quietly, eyes fixed on the monitor. "Hahn, I think I picked up something from Node 3. It's not a whale. It's structured." "Structured how?" "Like something's transmitting intentionally." There was silence. Then Hahn replied, "Cut the feed. That sector's restricted tonight." "What? Since when?" "Just do it." But Aaron didn't. She muted the radio and increased the gain instead. The signal grew louder. Suddenly the monitor flashed red. Data overload. The system struggled to process the incoming frequency. Every speaker in the lab began to emit a deep rumble, shaking the floor. And then, it changed. The tone shifted into what sounded like a voice. Low, guttural, stretched beyond language, like a whisper dragged through static. She could make out fragments, something resembling words. Deeper, watching. "Return!" She stepped back instinctively. Her headset hissed and the power flickered. When it came back, the waveform on screen was no longer rhythmic. It was chaotic, almost frantic, like something enormous thrashing in pitch black. Aaron quickly opened the live camera feed from Node 3. Static. She toggled filters. The screen flickered between green and black, until, for one frame, something appeared. A shape. It looked like a massive eye filling the entire lens. Not human, not fish, just a round, motionless sphere surrounded by darkness, reflecting the faint glimmer of the sensor light. She froze the frame, zoomed in. The detail sent a chill up her spine. The reflection on the eye's surface showed the camera itself, and another shape behind it. Something moving. And then the feed cut out. Total silence. Her console rebooted itself automatically, replacing the feed with an archived file dated 1972. She hadn't opened that folder. It wasn't supposed to be accessible. The file's name was simply below1.wave. Curiosity took over fear. She double-clicked it. The same hum returned, but this time, it wasn't alone. There were voices in the background, men talking in hurried Russian. A single phrase repeated, "Не открывай шлюз, don't open the gate." And then, screaming, muffled by water, followed by that same low tone she'd heard moments earlier. She ripped her headset off. The log files on the side panel began updating themselves, as if someone, or something, was remotely accessing her system. New lines appeared. Node 3, status, reconnected. Recording in progress. Feed active. Her monitors blinked, one by one. Cameras she didn't even know existed came online, each showing murky blue darkness. The final one, labeled External Hull Camera, Trench 3, slowly cleared up. There was motion, something massive drifting in front of the lens. Not swimming, floating. It looked like a structure, maybe coral, maybe wreckage, but its geometry was too perfect, almost architectural. Towers, arches, and beneath it, movement. She whispered to herself, "That's not natural." A faint rumble filled the room again, the same tone, but now joined by hundreds of faint ones, harmonizing, as if thousands of unseen throats were singing in the deep. The lights dimmed. The audio feed began to loop itself into words again, clearer now. "We were here first." Her breath caught. The lab door behind her clicked open. Dr. Hahn stood there, face pale. "Aaron, you didn't shut it off, did you?" She shook her head. He exhaled sharply. "They told us never to reconnect that line. You don't understand what's down there." "What do you mean they?" she demanded. He looked at her monitor, his expression collapsing. "They call it the resonance. We picked it up in the 70s. Every ship that tried to trace it vanished." Aaron's voice trembled. "Then what's transmitting it?" Han stared at the screen where the massive shadow still moved. "Not what? Whoever's still answering." Suddenly the lab went dark. Only the monitor's pale glow remained. The last thing Aaron saw was the live feed, the camera slowly being pulled backward, as if something enormous had wrapped around it and was dragging it down. Then the screen went black, but the audio kept playing, soft, almost melodic whispers, like a choir beneath the ocean. One phrase repeated until the speakers blew out entirely. "Not from above, but from below." When rescue teams arrived 14 hours later, Deep Wave 12 was empty. Every system was offline except for one, Node 3's recorder. It had captured exactly 11 minutes of new data. The final second of that recording was nothing but silence, followed by a single deep exhale, like something breathing in the dark. The diver's last breath was caught on tape. A faint inhale, a click, and then silence. When the recording was found, it was inside a rusted waterproof camera case washed up near the coast of Kodiak Island, Alaska. The Coast Guard almost discarded it until they noticed the scratched engraving on its surface. "If you hear it, don't go deeper." Inside the case was a mini DV cassette labeled only A74 Dive. The timestamp read May 3rd, 2012. The footage begins with two divers preparing for descent. Their names, later identified from an expedition manifest, were Paul Lennox and Mateo Vargas, deep-sea welders hired to survey the wreck of an unknown vessel believed to be Soviet. There's laughter at first, jokes about visibility, the usual nervous energy before a cold water dive. The camera shakes as they lower themselves into blackness. At 40 feet, daylight fades. By 80, their flashlights are the only thing cutting through the thick, milky green. Then, something in the distance. A shape. Mateo's voice. "You seeing that? The hull?" The camera pans. Not a ship, a wall of metal, smooth, curved, stretching far beyond the beam of their lights. Paul wipes condensation off his faceplate. This isn't the wreck. Their depth gauge blinks. 130 outer eft. They were supposed to stop at 100. Static glitches the video. When it returns, they're hovering in front of an opening. A circular hatch perfectly intact, no corrosion. The edges look freshly cut. "Looks sealed from inside," Mateo says. "Who the hell sealed it?" Paul taps the metal with his wrench. A hollow, ringing echo answers back. 3 beats, then nothing. He hits it again. Another echo, but delayed, like it bounced from deeper within. Then something knocks back. Once, twice, 3 times. They both freeze. Mateo's breathing quickens. "Maybe gas pressure release," he says, trying to rationalize. Paul moves closer, presses his helmet against the hatch. The camera microphone catches it, a low vibration, rhythmic, not mechanical, not water movement, almost like a slow heartbeat. "You hear that?" Paul whispers. "Yeah," Mateo answers. "But wait, do you feel the current?" The silt at their feet begins to stir, spiraling upward. Bubbles rise from nowhere. Their depth alarm starts beeping, rapidly. Paul turns to ascend, but the hatch opens. No sound, no creak, just a black void yawning before them. The water inside looks thicker, darker. Something about the pressure difference pulls them slightly forward. Mateo curses, gripping the frame. Paul aims his flashlight in. The beam cuts across what seems like a corridor, walls lined with barnacles and something reflective, like metal pipes. But one of the pipes moves. It retracts deeper into the dark like a living limb. Paul jerks back, panicked. His camera jolts, catching a flash of symbols etched along the doorway, spirals intersecting in repeating patterns, almost runic. "That's not Russian," Mateo mutters. "Then what language is that?" Before Paul can answer, the heartbeat sound grows louder. Their lights flicker. Mateo's suit pressure drops. His gauge spins erratically. Then a shape glides out from the hatch, barely visible, like a shadow thicker than the water itself. The camera loses focus. For a second, the outline resembles a human, but distorted. The arms too long, the head wrong. It stops a few meters away, just floating. Then the audio peaks, an ear-splitting frequency, like metal grinding underwater. Both divers scream. The video cuts. When it returns, time has jumped, 14 minutes missing. Mateo's voice is gone. Only Paul's ragged breathing remains. He's alone, flashlight trembling. The water around him is filled with small white flakes. No, not flakes, skin. Tiny translucent scraps drifting upward like snow. He mutters, "Mateo, come in, where are you?" No response, just static. Then, black. Only audio remains. Tap, tap, tap. A minute of silence follows. Then Paul's voice whispering, trembling. "If anyone finds this, there's something alive down here. It's not..." He cuts off. The mic records muffled movement. Maybe him climbing or dragging himself. Then, it spoke. I heard it. Inside my head. Silence again. Then faintly, like through a wall of water, another voice, slow, echoing, distorted. "Why did you knock back?" Paul starts sobbing. The tape ends there. The Coast Guard submitted the cassette to the NOAA for analysis. They recovered 43 seconds of hidden audio at the end, inaudible frequencies compressed into subsonic layers. When spectrally analyzed, the data formed repeating geometric shapes nearly identical to the symbols seen on the hatch. And at 19 hertz, just below the range of human hearing, the waveform produced a pulsing rhythm resembling a human heartbeat. But here's the part never released to the public. The last frame of the video wasn't static. When technicians brightened it, they found Paul's helmet reflection captured one final image. Behind him, through the murk, a figure standing upright, unmoving, inches away, its face almost human, except for the third eye etched like glass in its forehead. And in that reflection, if you pause at frame 22, you can see Paul's mouth opening, though the timestamp shows he'd already stopped breathing. Post-recovery incident report. U.S. NOAA archive document 774B excerpt. Declassified 2021. Subject: analysis of cassette. A74 findings. Audio interference matches low-frequency anomalies detected at depths 4,000 barometers near the Aleutian Trench. Note: the rhythmic heartbeat correlates with seismic activity patterns consistent with biological resonance, not tectonic. Directive: archive sealed. Addendum: do not broadcast the signal publicly. Last line, handwritten. It responds when played underwater. Later that year, 2 Coast Guard divers tasked with re-examining the discovery site vanished without distress calls. Their submersible's data log showed only one abnormal reading, an audio ping identical to cassette A74's frequency, repeating every 41 seconds. The coordinates were automatically transmitted before contact was lost. And for 12 days, straight after that, sonar stations across the Pacific registered a deep, steady pulse, as if something huge was rising from the trench, listening for whoever knocked back. The distress call was received at 02:46 a.m., 40 nautical miles off Guam. The voice on the open channel repeated only 4 words, hoarse, distorted, trembling. "It's inside the sub." Then static. The call came from Deep Recon Unit 09, a three-man military research submersible testing new sonar technology at 6,400 meters. When Surface Control tried to hail them back, there was no response, just a faint hum, like wind blowing through metal. Protocol demanded an immediate recovery. By dawn, contact was re-established, sort of. The sub's onboard recorder began transmitting automatically, video and audio compressed into a repeating file labeled Twern09 Final. No crew responded. The video opens in total darkness. The only light comes from a flickering console. A man's breath rasps through the comm mic, fast, shallow. That's Lieutenant Harris, the pilot. Behind him, someone bangs on metal. "Open it! Open it!" a voice screams. Dr. Reed, the biologist. Harris shouts back, "We can't, the pressure." The camera tilts, catching droplets floating midair. Condensation, or maybe blood. Warning alarms flash. Hull integrity compromised, Section B. Then something new bleeds through the comm, a tone, faint and steady, almost musical. Every alarm quiets for a moment, as if the sound overrides them. Reed freezes. "Do you hear that?" The sonar monitor pulses with a perfect waveform, symmetrical, deliberate. At first it looks like interference, until it syncs with Harris's heartbeat monitor. Each pulse matches his pulse. He rips the headset off. "Turn it off, shut it down." Reed's breathing slows. "Wait, it's calling us." She moves toward the viewing port. The camera follows shakily. Outside is black ocean, but the sonar's reflection paints faint shapes in the dark. For half a second, a face drifts past the glass, pale, eyeless, mouth open as if whispering, then gone. The sub trembles. The lights flare white, then die. When power returns, Reed is gone. Only two suits remain, Harris and the engineer, Cole. The cabin walls drip with condensation. Through the fogged glass, something presses against the outside hull. 5 distinct impressions, like fingers made of liquid shadow. Cole whispers, "We have to go up." Harris nods. "Ballast release, now." The lever refuses to move. The pressure gauge climbs. Somewhere deep inside the hull, metal groans like a living thing. Then the external camera flickers online by itself. On screen, the sub's exterior, dimly lit by its own searchlight, tilted downward toward an abyss. Below, in the cone of light, lies a structure, massive, circular, breathing slowly. The sonar pings again. Ping, 0.8 seconds. Ping, 0.7. Ping, 0.6. Something is ascending fast. Cole panics, slamming the manual ballast release. The sub jolts upward, but the readout freezes. Depth, 6,231 meters. Then a voice, not human, slips through the static. Low, layered, like multiple throats speaking as one. "Return what was taken." Harris grabs the mic. "Identify yourself." No response, only breathing. Then Reed's voice returns, calm, distant. "We opened it, Harris. We found where the sound lives." The hull flexes inward, rivets popping like gunfire. A deep rumble builds beneath them. Cole screams. The lights burst. The camera cuts to black. Like the sea itself is mimicking him. The glow brightens until the entire cabin pulses blue. Shadows crawl across the ceiling, forming shapes. Circles within circles, same symbols seen on the hatch in Story 2. Harris starts laughing, hysterical. "You think it's hell down here? Hell is up there. Down here, it's home." The sub tilts violently. The camera spins, catching a blur outside the viewport. A spiral of bodies, thousands, suspended upright, faces pale, eyes open, all turning toward the light. Then impact. The video fractures into static. At 08:29 a.m., the sub's emergency beacon surfaced on its own, no hull attached. Yet the black box kept transmitting for another 2 minutes after recovery. The audio was mostly pressure pops and static until the last 30 seconds. A faint whisper, female voice. "Deep Wave 12, A74 dive. We're all connected." Investigators cross-checked those names. Deep Wave 12 was Dr. Aaron Voss's station from Story 1. A74 dive, Paul Lennox's recording from Story 2. But this message came 3 years before either of them happened. Post-incident report excerpt, Naval Archive, mrlastnightg. Recovered data from TRN-09 suggests a non-acoustic transmission originating from 11,000 meters. Signal contains coherent linguistic patterns in multiple languages predating known civilizations. The phrase, "return what was taken," appears in each cycle. Below the typed paragraph, a handwritten note from an anonymous analyst. Stop listening. It's not a message. It's a response. Segment. Decrypted 2023. A private contractor leaked a portion of the sub's corrupted video to deep web forums. The clip is under 10 seconds, but experts who enhanced it confirmed it shows movement outside the sub, something massive with ribs like arches of bone. The last frame, before data corruption, reveals the sub's floodlights reflecting off what appears to be an enormous translucent skull. Inside that skull, silhouettes of people drifting, their mouths open, emitting the same low hum that broke the surface radios. Freeze frame analysis found the letters MARE etched into the bone. Latin scholars translated it as the sea itself. When the signal finally ceased, seismographs across the Pacific recorded a pulse exactly 41 seconds apart for 9 continuous hours, then absolute silence. 3 days later, buoys near the Mariana Trench began transmitting a new tone. Identical to TRN-09's heartbeat frequency, but this time, it was coming from above the surface. Ships in the region reported hearing it through their hulls, low, mournful, like a foghorn made of breath. Crew members described seeing ripples on the calm water, circular, expanding outward from a single invisible point. Satellite thermal scans showed a perfect ring of colder water 50 miles wide. At its center, no debris, no beacon, just a single word spelled in reflected light beneath the surface: returned.